Elden Ring has 8 attributes that you can level up together in order to create a well-balanced character. But that's not what we're trying to achieve today. We're going to create the greatest Elden Lord to ever walk the lands between. And the only way to achieve that is by only leveling strength. Our goal in this video is to beat Elden Ring and all its main bosses while only leveling the strength attribute. Let's see how this goes. Enjoy. In order to achieve the greatest Elden Lord status, we need to first create our character. I decided to attempt to replicate a character that is fit to become the Strength Lord. Hell yeah, dude. And now with our almost exact replica of a character, we are finally ready to dive into the lands between. It is only natural that we attempt to face the grafted scion, because why not? But we get absolutely cooked so hard they didn't even bother to show the death animation. But that fight doesn't matter anyways for this run, so we move into the first area of the map, Limgrave. In order to minimize the ass whooping that we're going to be taking from the main bosses, we venture around the map to gear up with proper equipment. We're first introduced to our waifu, as we have no idea where she pulls up from, and she offers us our spectral steed, which will take us around the map. If you say so. Speaking with her also gives us the ability to level up using runes that we obtain from monsters that we defeat. Now with that done, we can move on and grab our first weapon of the game, which is the Lord Swan's Great Sword. Despite having Elden Ring for over 2 years and doing multiple playthroughs, I've never actually used a strength weapon, so I made it a goal to use as many strength weapons as we can, and we go and collect another weapon, the Great Axe. Then we murder an innocent bystander for no reason and head into the woods to grab the Spiked Crack tier and the Green Spill Crystal tier. Next stop is Fort Height. We grab one half of the Dectus Medallion, which will be important for later in the game, and then head over to the Third Church of America to grab the Wondrous Physique that will be important throughout this run. Golden Vow is an incantation that increases both attack and defense, but requires 25 faith to use it. A good alternative is to run this random lonely knight of his pockets to get the Golden Vow Attribute, which can be added to a regular dagger. Next up is Fort Verith in Salad. We're here to grab the second half of the Dectus Medallion, as well as Radagon's Source Heal, which will give you a boost to other attributes by +5, which technically doesn't count as leveling up. But realistically, I'm my only judge here, so I'm gonna go use it. With a few things left before we end up facing Morgott, we head on over to the Weeping Peninsula to defeat the Erdtree Avatar and take his Opaline Bubble tier. Then, for no reason, we get bored and head all the way south to defeat the Leonine Misbegotten to get the Grafted Sword item, and also enough runes to afford the Zweihander and level up our strength. Emboldened by the Flame of Ambition, it is only right that we head back to Salad to grab Flame Grant Me Strength. And now with that being said, I guess we're ready to face Margarine. With all these items at hand to make up for my complete lack of skill, we take on our first major boss of the run, Margarine, the Fell Omen. Proceeds to hold up his weapon for 72 business days before finally attacking. But that doesn't matter. With the Morningstar at hand and a 315 bench press, Margarine proves to be no match for the extremely overpowered build that we already have at our disposal. The strength is truly coursing through our veins. After just a few attempts, the first boss of the run goes down. Hell yeah, dude. With the Great Axe now at hand, we quickly make our way through Stormveil Castle to reach our next boss, Godric the Gunner. Our strength at this point does a fair bit of damage to Godric, but the Gunnarality proves to be quite formidable as he swings his axe and ruins my health bar. Oh shit. Okay. I'm the type of player who believes as long as I can deal damage, I can beat them, so I proceed to make absolutely no changes to my build or playstyle and set his ass directly into Phase 2. Phase 2 starts off pretty easy as he's just standing there still spewing fire, yet I somehow still managed to completely miss. But it's okay because this juicy stagger makes up for it. During his second phase, we absolutely lock in and dodge every single one of his attacks like I dodged the need to actually get good at this game. Just goes to show you this true superiority of the strength attribute and the real way to play a From Software game, dealing pure Unga Bunga damage. With this last stagger, the Gunner shall go no more, and we set our eyes for Liurnia of the Lakes. Not too bad so far, not too bad. With this, we also obtain one of 2 great runes needed to enter into Lindell later in the playthrough. Next up is Liurnia of the Lakes. We head straight to the Purified Ruins to grab the 2 Fingers Heirloom to increase faith by +5. Now we're able to use Flame Grant Me Strength, another weapon to make up for a complete lack of skill. Well, we'll just say since it's called Flame Grant Me Strength, if it's the strength build, if it's yeah. Then we run into a random shack in the middle of the woods with a creepy man outside. So what else would you do in that situation? Quite literally, take his balls. I don't know what you guys were thinking, but I was definitely talking about his weapon, if you know what I mean. Guys, literally, balls. Once that's complete, we seek the large club, which is going to be our weapon of choice for facing Rennala. Then we head back to Liurnia and deep into the wetlands of Rennala, where there's a cave. In this cave, we defeat the Crystalline and grab the Miner's Bell-Bearing 1 for unlimited upgrades to +6 weapons. Now, to gain access to Hogwarts to be able to fight Rennala, we drive by grab this key that is hidden behind this dragon in order to pass through the seal. Then we take this random convenience teleport in the middle of nowhere that literally takes you immediately to the academy. As we make our way through Hogwarts, we run into our next major boss, which is the Red Wolf of Radahn. With the Lordsworn Greatsword at hand, we deal a substantial amount of damage. The Red Wolf does move quite fast and deals damage, but takes a whole lot of damage himself and ends up getting put down for good. To be fair, where is Radahn to come claim his missing pet? Now comes our next major issue, and that's more balls. Our next boss is the queen of all Reddit users, and that's Rennala. The objective is quite simple in this fight. Beat the life out of her children to reveal her feat, which gets you high enough and all the way to the moon, where she becomes Goku and pretty much uses the Kamehameha. But to be fair, I'm Broly, so maybe it balances out. In her second phase, we try to get up close and hit her with our very large stick, while bobbing and weaving her magic with pure skill. But try not to die, because you will be spending the next 15 minutes just to try to face her again. How fun. After a few attempts of dying to her children, the universe, and the universe again, we finally figure out what's been missing the whole entire time. Yes, sir. Now that we have the ultimate ball wielder's personality, the strength it just becomes too much for her to handle. The mask has clearly added a 90% damage boost, and so she has to summon a giant-ass dragon, and I don't even know if I'm hallucinating at this point. But her health drops at least. Bro, can you stop running? Holy smokes. Oh my god, that dragon should have hit me. And here's our reward for beating her. An egg. 2 Dectus halves, we pull up to the Grand Lift of Dectus in order to take us to Altus Plateau. To practice for our next boss, we head back to the beginning of Lingrave and face the Tree Sentinel. Yeah, we're severely overleveled for this fight, but I do not care. I will go to sleep happy at night knowing that I took his life and took his weapon, the Gold Halberd. By gaining more talisman pouches, we return to Stormveil in order to take the Claw Talisman. Afterwards, we head over on into Sage's Cave to grab the Raptor's Black Feather outfit. With the Raptor's Black Feathers and the Claw Talisman, our jump attack damage is going to be increased. Before we take on our next boss, we grab the Miner's Bell-Bearing 2 for unlimited upgrades to +12 weapons. From completing our training arc with the other Tree Sentinel, we are prepared to face the real Horse Senpai, the Draconic Tree Sentinel. With our Great Mace, it's fairly easy to stagger this boss and deal a lot of damage. However, we've finally reached the point of this playthrough where we cannot afford to take multiple hits. So anytime we get hit, you absolutely one-shot. But our belief in the true Gains build cannot be faltered, and so we aim for his horse ass cheeks to deal maximum damage. We get a second stagger here, which means this fight is pretty much over. We still got the bubble tier up, meaning we can afford to take one hit And the 5-plate deadlift is just too much for the Draconic Tree Sentinel to handle.
Oh my god.
Or is it?
Oh, hell no, man. What?
Phew, that was quite spooky. Now with access to the capital Leyndell, we set out for our next weapon of choice. We head into Salad and change over from Broly to become Guts from Berserk and grab the Greatsword. Hell yeah, dude. We upgrade our weapon to plus 11 and add heavy affinity, which will make the weapon scale stronger with strength. We also add another buff, which is Braggart's Roar. This will boost our damage throughout the playthrough. Next up is Piss Monster. Bro was quite an easy boss to get the hang of his patterns, as he really only has like 4 moves. But I still somehow managed to get hit with every single one of them. But the overwhelming damage of the Berserk within me is just too much for Piss Ghost to handle. So, Piss Ghost gets shit on. Wahoo! Let's go. Now we can make our way to Marjorie's older sister, Murgo's wet nurse. But since we added another talisman pouch, we pull up to the Lux Ruins and shake Queen Gillica out of her boots, and grab the Ritual Sword Talisman. This will give us a damage boost at max HP. We suit up with the iron balls at hand. Madeline proves to be our first major challenge of the strength one. Morgott on crack one-shots our health bar and has fast moves and a plethora of quick combos, meaning by this point in the playthrough, you essentially have to perform this run hitless. Even with the balls, Morgott has fully unveiled my skill issue. After a few feeble attempts, we decided to just get better, as in, find a better weapon for more damage. We scurry around Leyndell for a little bit until we run into some more balls, the Starfist. Then we head into the trenches of Altus Tunnel to collect some materials to upgrade my spiky balls to plus 14 before we return to face Miranda. More damage and the power of strength proved to be the only way to complete this game, and taking down Morgott is just another example. Something feels a little bit different this time, and you're right, that's more damage though, bro. Don't forget the Flame of Ambition is still alive and well. The balls end up sending Morgott onto his knees, and an extreme lack of health bar going into the second phase. Who needs skill when you have Bonk? And with that being said, Morgott gets got. Next up is the Mountaintop of the Giants. Before heading into that area, we find a weapon that is only fitting for where we are going. At least we try to, until this thing ambushes us. What even is this? We quickly grab the Giant Crusher and go on with our day like nothing happened. There's really nothing to see here in the Forbidden Lands, so just speedrun our way over into the Mountaintop of the Giants with our weapon in hand. Our first stop here is the Zamor Ruins, where we pick up the Miner's Bell Bearing 3 for unlimited upgrades to plus 18 weapons. By this point in the playthrough, we are level 60 and reach a strength rating of 69, which was not planned whatsoever despite this being the only time thus far I have revealed my level. While on my way to the Fire Giant, I realized that I had completely forgotten to partake in the Radahn Festival. I didn't actually need to go and face this boss to complete the main story, but another chance to flex my overwhelming strength on these NPCs to feel better about myself is exactly what we need to be doing at this time. So we head over to Altus Plateau and this random carriage to grab the Great Stars, which I thought would be the perfect weapon to be taken down, the Starscourge. Which turns out to not be the case. Radahn is another boss who by this point in this playthrough will one-shot me with low vigor, so he proves to be another major challenge. But a challenge can only mean so much against the mightiest of strength builds. To prove this, I used this cheesiest method to un-aggro him from his arrow phase, and use every single buff that I could possibly use. Radahn's first phase isn't too bad. By staying close to him and staying behind him as much as possible, he managed to dodge all of his relentless attacks while also being able to deal damage ourselves. Not racially motivated, we send him back to the stars where he belongs. But then he returns back with a vengeance, and we get completely shook, so we just completely miss the freest hit of all time. Twice. This one's a true fight to the death, looking quite good in our favor by this point. With all things going well, it looks like we're actually going to be able to... Oh my god. Oh god, that was my best attempt so far. Oh my god. Unfortunately for Radahn, I have unlimited phases, and so I return to relinquish his health bar with the Great Stars, before he could even enter his second phase. Radahn actually takes many hits to stagger, but we get the most important one here that completely changes the fight over. It's completely over from here. Goodbye, Radahn. Let's go. Holy. That was actually annoying. Now we whip back out the Giant Crusher and take a transporter chest to Celia Crystal Tunnel to collect some upgrade materials for the next boss and have my life taken away from me by regular world mobs. That's right. Regular world mobs. Now we proceed to take on the final boss of the dungeon with absolutely no potions whatsoever and get absolutely humbled. Also, please don't ask me why I'm running around with 77,000 runes. I don't have an answer for you either. But don't worry, the story does end well. We return to him with the hammer to get the last of our upgrade materials in this cave. With the power of the bonk, we get this juicy stagger right here. And boy is it over. Check out this damage right here. Immaculate. Juicy. Majestic. Strengthened. Before we get to the fire giant fight, we head over to the First Church of America to grab the last material that we need to get our weapon to plus 21. Now we can finally take on the fire giant. After a few attempts, we realize the fire giant follows suit with the previous late game bosses and does a boatload of damage that my wee little health bar cannot handle. But the objective still proves to be quite simple. The first phase, follow the feet, and in the second phase, you're meant to follow the hands, but I still end up following the feet. It does less damage, but it's still safer to not be hit by his naughty rolls. And after following this pattern, finally crush the fire giant with the Thor hammer. The fire giant in the second phase really doesn't do much besides roll and drop these fireballs, so literally just hop on your horse and swale away at him for 20 minutes, honestly. After all this tomfoolery and this guy just not accepting his inevitable death, finally take him down. Imagine being a giant, getting crushed by the Giant Crusher. Now we set our sights on the forge, where we sacrifice our elden wife for our own self-interest. But her efforts won't go to waste. I promise I'll come back as the Elden Lord. Not to you though. After the Elden Tree is burned, we fall into a deep sleep and end up in a crumbling castle in the sky. How have we done that? For our next weapon of choice, we return to the Weeping Peninsula and head underground to Morn Tunnel to absolutely destroy the scaly Misbegon's health bar. For defeating him, we end up getting the Rusted Anchor. At this point, we still have to make my character actually look like Broly, so we head on over to this merchant in Salad and pick up the champion bracers and still don't look like Broly at all. But we kinda look cool, I guess. I hope. I wish. Next stop, Godskin Duo. This fight was the worst thing I've ever experienced in my life. The lack of vigor just meant I was fighting two goons who had the opportunity to one-shot me. So basically double hits, double the chances, and double the deaths. The Rusted Anchor was a formidable weapon that dealt more than enough damage to take down one of these bosses. The plan was to just focus on defeating one in order to deal with the next one on its own, but this was far easier said than done. In my opinion, the Godskin Noble was the better option to take out first to stop him from doing his bullshit spinning attack, and he was easier to deal with when there was two of them. However, I was quite bad at facing the Godskin Apostle even on his lonesome. I kept losing my open line bubble tier before even getting a chance to face him by himself. The tactic was working for quite a bit, and for most attempts I was able to take out the Godskin Noble. But every single time the Foreskin Apostle bested me, I was truly losing hope. That's when I dug deep into the bag and decided to play bullshit as well. As you might have noticed, we completely ditched the Broly look and went back to the Raptor's Black Feathers for the increase in damage. The Foreskin Duo is an absolute nightmare to face with low vigor on your own. Good thing, you don't actually have to face it on your own. But before we crash out, we hold on to the last bit of hope that we have a chance against this boss by implementing a long-lost strategy. More damage! So we run around and grab some more upgrade materials. By one, manipulating this stone golem into breaking this stone statue. ending up on the top of Mount Everest, and lastly, infiltrating Castle Soul to find a room full of rats that somehow have the smithing stone that we need. With these stones, we can now upgrade our rusted anchor to plus 21. Wait, no we can't, we needed one more smithing stone, and you already know, I would do anything for more damage. So now we pull up to the Guardian's Garrison in the Mountaintop of the Giants to pick up the last faithful smithing stone. And with that, we are now ready to face the Foreskin Duo. Well, here goes nothing. Let's see if more damage Yeah, I've had enough. I'm just about to crash out right now. Given the 2v1 circumstances, it's time we even the playing field with Recusant Bernal. Let me just say, Bernal is absolutely goated. He's able to take on the Godskin Apostle on his own while I manhandle the Noble. Together, we prove to be the superior duo and the rightful heirs to the Foreskin Duo title. We defeat the Noble and combine our talents to finally put down the Apostle. But during their next phase, they each return one more time for the smoke. So basically, it's a 4v2, and I'm gonna say this was more than deserved. Let's bring out the level 1 wolves just to have an advantage. Make it a 5v1. We jump the absolute hell out of the Apostle, forcing the Noble to appear, only for him to suffer the exact same fate. All the eternal pain, suffering, trials and tribulations finally come to an end, and this is the most relieved I've ever felt in my entire life. We are rewarded with the final bell bearing, giving us unlimited upgrades to plus 24. Our next challenge proves to be one of the toughest yet, and making our way to him was no exception. The path to Maliketh is top 10 worst experiences in humanity with low vigor. You must face a group of relentless birds that not only one-shot you, but are completely immobile and follow you to the ends of the earth. Then you gotta face a dragon that is constantly shooting lightning at you, while you're running away from the birds. Then, once you make it past that, you run into these creatures that are trying to knock you off the map as you have to parkour, and it's a whole group of them. This is crazy. But it's okay, because once you finally make it past all of this, you're free. As in free to give up on the game, as you have another draconic tree sentinel guarding the boss fight. We, however, know how to handle them horse ass cheeks.
What?
So if you take down this tree sentinel, then he stops spawning. So if you plan on being here for a while, your best bet is to just take him down. Now we're on to the doggo. He doesn't have too many moves during his first phase. However, they are extremely unforgiving. He moves very fast, has ranged hits, and also timed hits. So for a few attempts, we fell before even reaching the second phase. Oh boy, we're actually gonna have to get good this time around. In order to ease the pain, however, we head back out to Salad to defeat the Putrid Avatar and pick up the Stone Barb Crack tier, which increases the chances to break an enemy's stance. Then we defeat a Scarab that is holding Cragblade, which also buffs stance damage as well as physical damage. And you know how much we love to abuse the stance break. With these items at hand, we bring down the amount of hits to stagger to just 3, with an automatic ticket to second phase once we get the stagger, with evangelical damage now at our disposal. Now second phase is a lot different. It's actually even worse than the first. He jumps around the map conjuring up random moves out of his ass, but they hit like an absolute truck, and we get one shot before we even get a chance to hit him. Maliketh so far has been our greatest challenge yet for this run, and we dig deep into the bag and lock in order to even stand a chance. On one fateful run, we managed to get this double hit off on Beast Clergyman to stagger him and send him into second phase. We start to become used to Maliketh's moveset. It's just a matter of chasing him around the map and getting as many hits in as we can. During this run, we managed to dodge all of Maliketh's attacks while also spamming him with jump attacks. We actually managed to get 4 hits off on Maliketh to stagger him and finally put down Destined Death Doggo, changing the royal capital Lindell for Oh my god, I can't believe I did that, bro. Can't believe I did that. Holy shit. Fuck's sake. We need some new weapons for the upcoming battles. We grab the Beastman's Curved Sword, which has a scandalous moveset for facing Harry Potter, and we enter into the depths of the earth to pull out the Ringed Finger weapon to use against Godfrey, the first Elden Lord. Harry Potter does a whole lot of yapping, so we just slap him in his mouth. Holy shit, this is the easiest fight I've ever experienced in my life. There's no way I could lose. Anyways, for all my Harry Potter fans, we shove him back into his cupboard under the stairs and alter the whole entire timeline of the series. You're welcome. Next up is Godfrey, and we'll honor him as the first Elden Lord with a finger. Godfrey doesn't take that much damage, but it's a relatively telegraphed fight, so we can dodge his moves and finger him as much as we can, and bro just cannot take it. He has to take off his clothes. But in his second phase, he immediately gets dropped onto his knees and performs a whole bunch of animations that honestly hurt him more than they hurt me. And we flawlessly take him down with no hits. Just a pure finger, pure vibes, and the first Elden Lord goes down. We are finally seeing the light at the end of the tunnel. When it comes down to taking on the final boss, there's only one weapon that can be wielded by the Elden Lord, and that is a hood classic, the Zweihander. We move to the mountaintops of the giants to grab an ancient dragon smithing stone to max out the Zwei to plus 25 to face off against Radahn. Radahn is relatively easy to stagger using the Zweihander, and its Giga Charge attack damage. We deal massive chunks to his health with each hit, and his moves are quite easy to dodge. But after a few attempts, we drop his health below half after the stagger, and we cannot manage to fully kill him. It also doesn't help at all that I'm quite trash at using heavy weapon movesets, so we get good and manage to finally reach the Elden Beast, who I'm even worse at using the Zweihander against. Fuck it, we ball. Literally. We switch over to the balls and holy shit, we realize this is literally the greatest weapon of all time. On our first attempt with the balls, we instantly murder Radahn and run into the Elden Beast. With the balls, we deal bear damage, smoothly dodge hits with a mix of speed and agility. This is the weapon suitable for an Elden Lord. With Torrent at our disposal, we chase down the Elden Beast around the map and drop the Space Lizard's health bar. He tries to escape from the balls but realizes the end is only inevitable. With this last hit, the final boss is taken down. And with that comes an end to our strength only run. Strength is truly an attribute to be reckoned with, and definitely has an amazing catalog of weapons with strong damage and cool movesets. But overall, thank you for watching. I hope you guys enjoyed. Please like the video, comment your thoughts down below, and subscribe for more gaming and Elden content in the future.